Chapter 3. The restaurant fire had barely cooled before Avenya was moving again. She did not go back to the Lushite mare. She had said what needed to be said, and heard what she expected to hear. Instead, she turned toward the lower districts, a part of Castile that the Order's polished marble halls had never quite reached. She had always come here, even before the banishment, even when she had the title and the authority of the weight of the Order's approval behind her name. She come because the people here needed someone to come to, and most people with the ability to help found no reason to. The streets were narrow and close, buildings leaning toward each other, overheard like old men sharing a secret. The smell of the district was asphytic, wood smoke and damp stone, and underneath something both that she had never been able to name, but always had associated with the particular dignity of people surviving circumstances that should have broke them. They recognized her immediately. A woman pressed a small bundle of dried herbs into her hands before Avenya could even speak. A child offered bread that he desperately needed. An elderly man with no shoes pressed his palms together and bowed his head with a reverence that made her chest ache. She accepted each gift carefully, the way she always had, because refusing it felt like telling them that their gratitude had no value, and their gratitude was sometimes the only thing that they had to give. But something was wrong today. She noticed it on the first woman who had given her the herbs, a deep cut along her forearm, not fresh, not old, something in between. The edges of it were raw, a faint blue discoloration spreading from the wound into the surrounding skin like frost forming on glass. She saw it again on a man sitting in the doorway with his head in his hands, burns across his knuckles and his wrists, the same blue at the edges. And again, and again. By the time she reached the end of the first street, she had counted 11 people carrying the same marks. Different wounds, different locations on the body. The same specific rawness at every edge. She stopped walking. Something was happening in these streets that had nothing to do with poverty. She needed to find out what. Avenya! She turned around and saw an older man who looked upon as if he had aged 20 years past his time. "My daughter is missing. I've been trying to find her for over 2 weeks," said the man. "Why don't you go to the Angelic Order?" asked Avenya. "I did, but they couldn't do much. She disappeared in Aethoz. They said they would contact the authorities there, but I haven't heard anything from them at all," said the father. "Please, I will give you anything to find her." Avenya looked at him. She only saw sadness and pain in his eyes. How could I say no? Maybe if I speak with the Aethosian authorities, I can find out what's happening, she thought to herself. "Okay," Avenya said. The father looked at her with admiration and a small flicker of hope. "Thank you," he said gently before turning away. One individual looked significantly worse than the others. His arms were almost completely dark blue, and his veins were pulsing a navy, dark, evil color. Avenya couldn't hold on. She needed to find out what was going on. "Please don't hurt me. I'm no longer with the Red Vipers," he said before Avenya could even approach him. "I have no interest in your past with the Red Vipers," Avenya replied quickly. "But I am interested in one thing." The individual looked surprised, almost shocked as he muttered, "What is it?" "Your cuts. Your burns. How did you get them? What happened?" The former Red Viper was shocked. He never thought that Avenya, a former member of the Angelic Order, would even care about him, would even give anything to him. "In Aethoz, I was a high-ranking member of the Red Vipers. You may even know me by my name, Kolvat, head engineer of the Red Vipers. I do know of you. said Avenya. What happened? During one particular bad night, the Earthrosian authorities found us and launched a deadly attack led by Xeric. His assault devastated us completely. Our warriors did our best, but failed to defend themselves. During the raid, I was captured and brought to someone named Volcris. What he did, I would rather not say. Avenya was saddened. Kolvat, we may have been adversaries. They must find out what is going on in Earthreos. People are suffering. I know, said Kolvat. I know where the remaining Red Viper outposts are in Earthreos. If you visit them and tell them what you are planning to do, they might help you. Where are they? Avenya responded. Kolvat went into his house and brought out a map showing the locations of several remaining outposts. Here, take this, he said.